Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to I Command. This is TV Boy, and we are here for our second top 4 game from our April tournament series. This was a 16-player tournament that was played over 3 weeks, 3 rounds of Swiss, and we did a cut to top 4. So this is the semifinals. We just covered the other semifinals game yesterday, which was Joey versus Morgan, and so you can go check that video out if you haven't seen it. This is the other top 4 game. So glad they took a log this time. Last tournament in March, we didn't get a log for the other semifinals, so thankfully we get to see both this time. And this time we're going to be seeing Pon3d versus Destruct, aka John versus Alex. And these players actually played each other in the finals of the last tournament, of our March tournament. This time meeting each other in the semifinals to decide who is going to get to move on to the finals. And we haven't actually seen the finals yet. We've started our May tournament, but they haven't played the finals for April yet due to traveling. So hopefully that's going to be happening soon, and we'll have the log for you guys this week. But let's get into the matchup here. I believe we've seen Destruct's list, but I don't think we have seen Pon3d's list in action yet. So Destruct is playing double Rancors, but in Empire instead of Scum. This was actually a really good tournament for Rancors. We had 3 players playing double Rancors. 2 other players were playing them in Scum, though. And the other players that were playing them did pretty good, too. I know Bacon had a 2-1 record, but he didn't quite make top 4 based on tiebreakers with his double Rancor list. And then Herbie, who actually had created the double Rancor list way back in Season 7 when it first came out. Herbie, I think, had a scheduling issue as well, so had to drop, unfortunately, but I know he won one of his games, so... double Rancor is doing well, but it was Destruct's list in Empire that he went undefeated with. So Destruct went 3-0, and it seems that the combination of Zillow technique to make them especially hard to take out, combined with extra movement points from officers and generals ranks, as well as extra attacks from the newly buffed elite officers, seems to have really pushed these Rancors over the edge and made them a top tier list. Now, last week, or yesterday I should say, we saw a somewhat underrated figure had made it into the top 4. Shore Troopers, generally undervalued in IACP, I think, by most folks. And I think we're going to see, I would say people agree that the figure we're seeing in John's list has been undervalued as well. Pathfinders are here in the top 4, as well as the Z6. I think these are cards that a lot of people may have written off or have found underwhelming. But here they are in top 4. John had a good record against players that had winning records themselves, so made it into the top 4 with a 2-run record. And John is playing, first of all, playing Rebel Sabs, which I think we've established are actually quite good in IACP now that they've been restored to their former glory pre-nerf, with a few other extra bumps, but nothing really major. They have, I think, 1 extra health compared to the FFG versions, and 1 extra accuracy. But otherwise, and their figure costs 3 instead of 4. But then they also had their Blast 2 restored from, and Speed 5 restored from their elite nerfs that FFG did. Probably rightfully so. Back in Wave 1, they were definitely overtuned for the rest of the game. But then he's also playing Cassian Andor, Saw Gerrera for some extra area of effect damage, Mern Rin, Gideon, R2D2, C3PO, and then the aforementioned Pathfinders and Z6. So let's look at the map. We're playing infiltration games. Once again, the same mission for the semifinals as yesterday. And this is the one where you have to install your taps on these panels, and then you can start getting 4 VPs at the end of each round. However, once you install them, they can be attacked, and they have 5 health and 1 block. So they're very easy to destroy once installed. And we can see it looks like we've come in here right after deployment has finished. So You can see that John has been able to move a lot of his figures because of that infiltration ability on the Pathfinders. Makes them really synergize well with Cassian. No Bodhi in this list though, so we're not going to see any extra accuracy with those power tokens. But the Saboteurs definitely appreciate having an extra damage power token. So it looks like we've got the Saboteurs have moved, and then Cassian brought a excuse me, I'm going to get them mixed up. The Pathfinders have moved, and then Cassian has brought a Saboteur out of the deployment zone. So those are going to be the 4 figures that get the power token from Cassian and his strike team ability. Now, unfortunately for John, I would say that this mission is not great for the Pathfinders. The other one too, it's kind of funny. Because of the way this mission, both of these missions on this map work, you have to get the taps before you can do anything useful. So, getting that extra movement pre-activation phase before you can pick up the taps is not as useful. However, as you can see, he's put a Pathfinder right here up against the door. So he can at least open that door and then move back to cover. That being said, Destruct is rocking a melee-centric list around these 2 Rancors, so line of sight's not going to be as much of an issue. In fact, it might even be better for John to keep that door closed, just so he can give himself some protection against the Rancors hitting him at the end of the round. Now, we've seen in the past that a strategy Destruct can use, because he's got 8 activations, is he can get last activation with 8 activations against some opponents, and then get to activate further by using the Rancor's voracious ability to ready the Rancor and activate again. So it's very powerful activation strategy there. John does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 8 activations though, but it looks like John got initiative for the first round, which means that Destruct is definitely going to have last activation, and then possibly additional activations after that here in round 1. So let's get into it. We'll see how the positioning shakes out, and if John can do something to counter these Rancors. Now, something that I think will come into play here is the stun on the Rebel Saboteurs. However, they will have to overcome Unshakable, so I think what John will have to do is he'll have to try to stun both Rancors at the same time, so to overload Destruct's ability to remove the stun from both Rancors. Alright, so starting off here, we've got R2-D2 going to come up and draw a card with Scomp Link. Regular officers are going to activate for Destruct. Picked up the tap and moved out to the hallway. And as you can see, Destruct is setting himself up to be able to install the tap with that officer. Once this door gets opened, the officer can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and install the tap. So good job setting up for the next round there. Alright, Mern activating for John. And, oh, do I have the right... Oh, I have them switched. Let me switch the hands around here. There we go. That was probably confusing, but now we've got it switched around, so we've got the hands showing next to the right players. Alright, so... where were we? Oh yeah, Min has hidden the Rebel Saboteurs. It's not Min, Mern. Particularly useful in this list since she can also hide the Z6 and the Pathfinders. They're all technically 2 dice. The Z6 will focus itself to become a 3 dice attacker, but it has a printed attack pool of 2 dice. Alright, another officer going to pick up another tap and move up, and also within, not quite within 4 of this panel, but of course he's got so many officers, Destruct can just use his other officers to move it into position. Alright, 3PO activating. Focused up Cassian. Cassian's going to be important here, I think, in this match to punch through the Rancor's double black dice armor, as otherwise there's not much he can do, not much John can do to punch through. I mean, I guess the Sabs do have the can do Pierce 4 and push through Zilla technique. So, all right, Gideon going to focus up a Saboteur. and going to move up next to 3PO instead of moving anything forward. Another officer going to open the door for Destruct on the right side. Seems he's not particularly afraid of exposing himself to some attacks here. That Pathfinder can open the door and attack, but perhaps Alex hoping that that will expose John to his Rancors coming in and attacking him on the right side. So here comes our first Rancor, Fuzzy, actually activated, pushed the officer forward 1 space and ended on the terminal. Alright, and Cassian now coming up and going to take the first attack of the game against that Rancor. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, range 8. But he is focused. Oh, not going to attack. Going to play Intelligence Leak first. And we're going to see Alex's hand, which is Pummel, Wild Fury, and Ferocity. All ways to get extra attacks. So that is going to be an interesting choice. You have to decide which one is the most scariest one to deal with. Ferocity gives his Rancor a free attack at the end of the round. Pummel lets the Rancors use 2 actions to perform 2 attacks, and then Wild Fury focuses and gives the Rancor the ability to use 2 actions for 2 attacks. I feel like Ferocity might be the scariest one here to let him attack at the end of the round, and yep, that's what one he's going to go for. Oh, maybe reconsidering? Yeah, Ferocity, going to go for it. Cassian going to take a strain and discards collateral damage from the deck for that one. That's unfortunate. Collateral damage with Saw is very good at killing officers when you're attacking the Rancors. Okay, and now we're spending a power token for Cassian's attack. Double dice for the Rancor. This is a good attack though. I think that's your max. I think he max rolled on that one. 7, 8, 10 damage against a block token, so 5 damage going through. That's pretty good. The only problem with attacking the Rancors early is they are going to heal some of that damage when they eat their officer friends. Okay, Cuddles is moving into the right side room to get out of line of sight, but still going to be attackable by this Rebel Saboteur. This is looking good for John, being able to pour all of these attacks into the Rancors before they can even get close. Saboteur going to spend the damage power token, also getting an extra surge from Hidden. Rancor spends its second block token, which it got from extra armor. And, ooh, that's a bad roll for the Rancor. Pretty good for the Saboteur, actually oversurged by a little bit. But it has the 3 surges it needs for Pierce 4 and Stun. Although he doesn't have great damage, but he is going to put all that damage through. So 3 damage and a stun on the Rancor. It's going to have to suffer a strain now if it wants to remove that stun with Unshakable. And now the other Sab able to also make an attack. This one just hidden instead of focus, but hopefully he's hoping to roll a little bit better. And he did. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, that means Zillow Tech... Oh, did he already use Zillow Technique on that last attack? For some reason, Zillow Technique is exhausted. I'm not sure why he would have used Zillow Technique there, because it would have just reduced the Pierce down to Pierce 2. Oh, I guess he had a block token. So that's unfortunate for Destruct. He didn't get really maximum value out of that Zillow Technique exhaust if he had saved it for this one. But it's always hard to tell what the dice are going to hold. So this time we're just seeing Pierce 2 with 4 damage coming in. So that's 4 more damage onto the Rancor. Rancors have 15 health. Yep. So 5 more damage. If you can take out a Rancor early, I think it's really good for this list. Okay, Unshakable is going to remove the stun, and Destruct is discarding Parting Blow for the Strain from Unshakable. And it looks like the Rancor is going to eat the Officer. Recovers 2 damage and readies. And now activating the Elite Officer. Is that how the Voracious works? At the start of another figure's activation. Yeah, so at the start of this officer's activation, he used Voracious to ready the Rancor. And then also used Unshakable there, so that way he can unstun the Rancor and be able to move it with the Elite Officer's Executive Order ability. And Executive Order plus General's ranks means that he's getting the full 4 movement and an extra 2 movement points. So this Elite Officer able to push this Rancor 6 spaces effectively. Yep, I'm gonna overlay onto the Saboteur, and now the Pathfinder is gonna be able to activate. So first Pathfinder gonna attack the Rancor with a damage power token. Ooh, max defense for the Rancor, almost. So not going to be able to do that. I think he should have removed a defense dice, though. If the attacker did not have line of sight to you. I'm almost certain... Oh, no, he was in front of the door? Oh, that Pathfinder was in front of the door, so... The small figures don't block line of sight for massive figures to other small figures, so the Rancor could see the Pathfinder. Oh yeah, and he was right there, so there you go. So didn't get to use Light It Up, unfortunately. So no damage to the Rancor. Not sure what they're highlighting. Oh, the Z6 gonna attack. Okay, so the Z6... interestingly, has Blast 1 built in, and Alex moved the Rancor to be next to both Saboteurs. However, what John is doing is he's opened the door. Open the door with the Z6, and he's targeting these rear spaces. So the way that it works with attacking a large figure, you don't target the figure itself. You actually target a space that it occupies as your target space. And then the way Blast works is it deals 1 damage to each figure adjacent to the target space, not adjacent to the figure. So by targeting these rear spaces, John is able to avoid dealing blast damage to his own Saboteurs. So very, very clever and very good use of the rules and understanding of how targeting and blast works. And a very good roll for this Z6. I'm assuming it used auto fire, but maybe not. Maybe he didn't want to give it a white defense dice. Okay, so didn't auto fire there, and got a good roll as well. So it has Surge for +2, Surge for Pierce 1. We've got 4 damage on the dice, so we're doing 6 Pierce 1, so 4 damage to the Rancor. And, oh nice, he's going to use Reduce to Rubble here. And that's going to deal 1 more damage to the Rancor. It is going to deal 1 damage to the and also going to fill up that hallway with difficult terrain. Okay, so did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage to the Rancor there, I believe. Right, Pierce 1 +2, so 6, Pierce 1, oh, 5 damage with the Reduce to Rubble, so... Oh, maybe not. Why are there no tokens coming out? Was that not played from the hand? No, it was. So yeah, it takes 1 more. Are the tokens optional? Then place Robo Token in the target space in each adjacent space. No, we should be seeing Robo Tokens. Oh, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they're going to do it later. But anyway, we're seeing a Pathfinder now activating. And it gets to shoot at the Rancor through small figures, because again it's a massive figure, so you just shoot above the other small figures. Spends a power token. No more block tokens for the Rancor. Let's see. So it looks like we are going to be doing 2 more damage, and I believe that would kill the Rancor, except Zillow Technique, going to discard Pummel to give the Rancor +1 block. And now we see the Rancor activating, going to attack that Pathfinder. Takes a strain for trained to re-roll that red die, I'm assuming. Let's see. Put this here. There we go. Yep, there we go. So that's going to be 5 damage, which I believe... Oh, actually attacking Cassian. Okay, so 5 damage going into Cassian there. And now, we're going to play Wild Fury that we saw earlier, so we're going to become focused. And Cassian gets stunned from the crippling blow, and we got the second attack. Okay, there's the... starting to put out the difficult terrain. Oh no! Cassian goes down. And that is a big, huge blow against John, since, as we said, Cassian was going to be a major source of damage for him. I wonder if he maybe... probably should have kept him further away, maybe towards the terminal area. Putting him in the middle there was a little bit too exposed to these Rancors. And now we're going to see the officer moving the other Rancor up to the terminal door. Excuse me, other officer moving the other Rancor to the terminal door. So, and then it looks like Fuzzy is going to activate and open the door, since they are trained, they don't have non-sentient, and now going to be able to attack R2-D2 here. Oh, just going to move actually. So interesting, going to move the Rancor after opening the door to overlap Saw and R2. So R2 can be pushed to either here, here, or here, or here. And then if he does that, if he pushes R2 here, then Saw would have to go here, or here, or here, or here. If he pushes Saw first, then Saw would have to go here. So the player who controls the figures that are being pushed gets to decide where they move to. But you have to push to the closest possible space. So interesting that John decides to move R2 into the main room, and then Saw further away from the main room. And that is going to be the end of round 1. So Destruct should have 6 VPs from killing Cassian. And now it looks like John going to play Take Initiative. And Destruct used all the command cards in his hand. And it looks like he did not draw Negation off of the 2. Oh wait, is that it? I see Negation now appearing. No, he did. He had Negation. Okay, so Destruct did draw Negation there. So able to play Negation to stop the Take Initiative. And so now Destruct going to have Initiative going into round 2. It looks like the Rancor, the damaged Rancor did take bleeding and stunned from Wild Fury. But he does have Unshakable. So interestingly, he's going to have to discard cards to avoid the Rancor dying there. So going to take a strain for Unshakable to remove the stun. Discards Parting Blow from his deck as strain. And also going to remove the bleed with first action. And then, oh, he's going to play Apex Predator. So that's going to give him 2 movement points, focused, hidden, and 2 power tokens. And then if he defeats something during his activation, he recovers 2 damage. So this Rancor is going to get some damage recovery here. I'm not sure why the other Rancor is also focused and hidden. I think he had both of them highlighted or something. But this is going to be the damaged Rancor activating, named Cuddles. Going to target Mern here. And gets +1 surge from the hidden. Oh man, that's a lot. That's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11 -2. I think he just one-shotted Mern there. Am I wrong? Mern has 9 health. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, should he be weakened? I guess he was weakened from the Wild Fury. Let's see, I can't remember. Does Wild Fury do bleeding and weaken? No, it's just stunned and bleeding. So I don't know why he would be weakened, unless maybe it was from the Z6 or the Pathfinder. No. Huh. Oh, he's doing Cleave. I think that's why. He's going to do Surge for Cleave 3. To kill the Rebel Saboteur. Okay, and so Destruct at 9 VPs. And now John's in kind of a difficult spot here. Cuddles is activated, but if he doesn't kill it now, it will reactivate with Voracious, which I think he's probably going to use. Okay, no, Destruct not going to use Voracious right now. So he has to deal 3 damage to kill this thing. He's got his Pathfinder group, so he's going to go with Pathfinder number 1. That's not going to be quite enough. I wonder if he should have gone with his other Pathfinder that could have used, what is it called? Light It Up to remove a defense dice. Oh no, is that not what it does? It used to do that. Oh no, I'm thinking of Element of Surprise. It just gives a reroll. It doesn't remove a defense dice. So yeah, that's only going to be doing 3 damage against 3 blocks, so no damage there. And now he's going to go with the other Pathfinder. This one will get to reroll. Oh, but unfortunately he max rolled into max defense roll, so another 0 damage attack from the Pathfinder, and here comes the Z6 to try to deal 3 damage. Hopefully John drew something like Overwhelming Impact to get through this. Rancor going to spend an evade token, and oh, that's good defense roll. He's not doing enough though, huh? He's doing Surge for +2. So right now he's doing 5 against 2 blocks. So with a Zillow discard, that's going to not kill. So using Officer's Training to reroll, I guess you have to reroll the yellow and hope you get damage surge. Because if he doesn't get a surge back on the yellow, he's not going to get to surge for +2. So Officer's Training to reroll doesn't have to be a leader. You just actually any figure can use it to reroll, but he won't draw a card since the Z6 is not a leader. Oh, nope. Okay, that wasn't enough. So I assume that means he doesn't have any way to add more damage to the attack. And yep, Destruct gonna discard of no importance from his hand for Zillow Technique to add 1 block to the defense, and that is going to keep the Rancor alive with 1 health. I guess the Rancor would have to eat an elite officer, which probably Alex doesn't want to do. So that's why we didn't see it eat that officer right away. So now we're going to see a regular officer move up and command the Rancor to move back a little bit. And Rancor is going to use Voracious to eat the officer that just commanded it. Ready and recover 2 damage. Alright, and now before I can activate, Saw Guerrero going to come up and try to finish it off. Again, unfortunately, no damage modifiers here. John just didn't have time to focus and hide his figures before attacking this round. Good attack though. Oh, unfortunately. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, didn't want to see that surge cancel because of the surge for +2, but no blocks is pretty good. And I think that's gonna kill the Rancor here before it can activate. So that was great for John. So John gonna get, what are these guys? 8 points, 9 points. 9 points from that. And gonna shoot into the lead with that kill, 16-9. because, of course, he's got 6 points from all the officers being sacrificed to the Rancor. I've talked about it before, but the sacrificing your officers does come at a steep cost. Not only are you giving up figures on the board, you are giving up VPs every time you do that. Victory points, 2 victory points each time. So it is not free to ready and feed these Rancors. We've got another officer going to come up and perform an attack. Oh, this is the elite officer going to have the Rancor perform an attack on Saw here, looks like. This is going to be with +1 damage. And we are playing... Oh, we're using Trained to re-roll. Gonna re-roll the red dice again. Those pesky 1 out of 6 1 damage results on the red dice. And sometimes it's 1 out of 6 twice. So that's gonna be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 damage to Saw is gonna leave him on 1 health remaining. Oh, are we looking at 4 damage? Oh, gonna cleave. So cleave 3 onto 3PO there. Alright, 3PO, or R2-D2, excuse me, gonna try and stun this elite officer, keep it from coming in. And unfortunately did not get the roll he needed to stun that officer. And now Alex can activate his Rancor, targeting, I'm assuming, Saw. I think that triple block is not going to be enough to save Saw, and going to be able to surge to cleave 3 onto 3PO. Get 6 VPs from that, putting Alex at 15. Still 1 point behind John, but he's got a full health Rancor that John needs to deal with, and John is down a few figures. It's not over yet, though. He's still got Gideon and Mern, and he's got Sabs and Pathfinders. He can focus and hide the Sab and the Pathfinder and the Saboteur both this turn, if he can get another turn at least. Okay, the Saw drops the tap, and Mern gonna activate, gonna remove the stun, and oh, interesting, Mern hiding Gideon and the Sab. I guess that makes sense. Gideon hasn't activated yet, so I'm gonna try and get some damage here. But yeah, Gideon is in range of an officer attacking with the Rancor. And gonna use Train, discarding Planned for the strain. That's gonna be 4, 5. I don't know why it's getting... Oh, it's getting +1 damage from General's ranks. Every time the officer orders the Rancor to attack, it gets +1 damage. That's gonna be 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that is a dead Gideon. So unfortunately that hidden is going to go to waste. And Alex going to 18 VPs. And now the Saboteur gets to activate. Interesting, double moves it through the debris field rather than trying to deal damage to the Rancor. He could stun the Rancor and it would stick. Okay, attacking R2, so 3 damage to R2 there. Or I believe that was against R2. I'm not sure why the Sab didn't attack. Okay, oh, Alex gonna take initiative this time. And he gets it. Exhausts the elite officer, it looks like. Regular officer. I'm not sure. What just happened? Oh, exhausted the regular officer. Let's see. Let's go back. So I saw Take Initiative get played. The elite officer is being exhausted first, then the regular officer. The regular officer is moving. And I'm assuming he's installing the tap. Okay, so now I've seen what happened. So the exhausted elite officer, regular officer activated and installed the tap onto the panel and then moved back to the terminal. Okay, so now R2-D2 going to activate. And it's going to try to stun the officer that has not activated yet. Now, I will point out that this officer that he's trying to stun has advanced comm systems, which means it can use its executive order up to 3 spaces away. So stunning this officer unfortunately does not stop it from giving an executive order to the Rancor. And he is going to stun it though. 1 damage and stun. And then R2 going to move away. Rancor is going to activate. And it's still within... Oh no, it's actually moved out. No, it's still within 3 spaces of that officer. That's unfortunate. So now it looks like Mern is going to go down here. And not going to be able to hide the Pathfinder and the Z6, which I think would have really appreciated that. And Opportunistic being played to give it 3 more movement points to move back 3 spaces. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't have any attacks from there, so I guess Alex is trying to move it back. And so now we're going to see the SAB activate and try to take out this elite officer, which is not going to be easy with just a hidden. The elite officer has 6 health, so it has to do 5 damage here to try and kill this officer. And strat shift being played, assumedly on himself. Yep, so John's going to use strat shift with the Saboteur to shuffle the 1 last remaining card back into his deck and draw 2 cards for himself. I don't think it ever... Here it is. Yeah, you can. It says a player of your choice. You can definitely use it on yourself. And since Alex is down to just 1 card in hand, there's no point in using it on Alex. So John's going to draw 2 fresh cards. Now going to attack. If he could draw Overwhelming Impact here, he could do it. He's got 3 damage and a surge. 2 surges. He's doing 3. If he has Overwhelming Impact, he'll have the damage and the surge he needs to deal 5. Right? No. Actually, no, he's going to be 1 short. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he's going to be 1 damage short even with that card. And going to use Zillow Technique to stop the Pierce 2. So 2 damage to the officer there. And now that officer going to activate and removes the stun, I'm assuming, to attack R2-D2. And R2-D2 not going to take any damage from this attack. Oh, I guess the other one was the one that had... I guess this is the one that had been exhausted for take, as it looks like we're seeing an officer moving the Rancor into position. But Alex is out of activations unless he uses Voracious to defeat his elite officer, which would be a gamble. He is going to use Voracious, okay? So John goes to 20. Going to ready the Rancor. And Pathfinders are just going to be moving around, splitting up across to opposite sides of the map. And now this Rancor just gets to attack the Sab. Gonna re-roll, takes a strain as damage. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's a 1-shot on the Sab as well. Alex goes to 29 VPs. Are we gonna have 1 more round here? Rancor moves back. Okay, we're going 1 more round. John gonna start off with 3P or R2-D2, excuse me, and gonna try and attack this officer. Okay, he's got it. He's got 1 damage. I mean, I don't know what that really does for him. He's gonna be able to stun the officer. Importantly, Alex can't remove stun from officers with Unshakable because he can only do it on figures that cost 9 or more. So 1 damage and stun. Oh, but you're seeing a Zillow discard, I think, to stop the 1 damage from going through. Although he would just pierce 2. Oh, he can exhaust Zillow. Okay, so Alex discarding Survival Instincts to use Zillow Technique to add a block, and then exhaust Zillow Technique to reduce R2's Pierce 2 to Pierce 0. And because of that, R2 deals 0 damage and will not be able to stun the officer. And R2 is going to move on to Alex's terminal, but I'm assuming this is going to be the last round here. We've got Officer activating to attack R2 for 1 damage. They're going to go move next to the Rancor. Alright, Pathfinders and Z6. These are the guys who are going to have to do it for John. But at this point, defeating that Rancor is not possible. I think, yeah, I just have to go for that Officer there. And if he doesn't kill it, at least he can force it to activate next. Okay, 3 damage. Oh, rerolls with Cower. So only going to do 1 damage to the Officer. And that was after John had a chance to reroll with Light It Up. Z6 going to come in and attack. Let's see if he uses the auto fire here. That's going to be 2 white dice with Cower, so I don't think he wants to do that. Oh, the dodge. Oh, he did auto fire. But even though there's a dodge, he does have enough surges to at least perform another attack. So he gets to attack again. That was good. Oh, you re-rolled with Cower into a dodge. That's rough. Alright, so now we see the other Pathfinder going to use Heart of Freedom for 2 more movement points. Going to attack the regular Officer, and for just 1 damage. Even with the reroll, unfortunately, going to just do 1 damage to the Officer there. He does force the elite officer to activate next with Distracting Fire. But he is just going to use the Rancor to attack and defeat, I'm guessing, the Z6. Yep, going to kill the Z6. Alex goes to 34. Now the Rancor gets to activate, takes out another Pathfinder, goes to 39, all the way to 40 with that. And that is going to be the game. So unfortunately, the Sabs and Pathfinders couldn't quite generate the firepower to take out both Rancors. Did kill 1 though, so that was pretty good. We can see the Rancors are so tough because of all the damage recovery they have with Voracious, and then as well as that they have Apex Predator to recover damage as well, so it gives them a little bit of a health buff to what they normally have. Plus we didn't see Survival Instincts come out and Savage Vigor, improving their defense as well. So you really have to lay into the Rancors and kill them quickly. I think if you cannot defeat both Rancors, it's going to be tough to win against them. So looking forward to the finals. We're going to see the Rancors against Joey's Troopers list, and we'll see how that goes. Catch you next time for the finals when it happens.